The big thing is setting expectations. Just like you'll set expectations at work, just like you set expectations in your relationship, I want you to set expectations with your buyers. If I send you a deal, okay, you can say these things, okay? I've said this very clearly. When I send you a deal, the only thing I expect is that you make an offer of some sort, as long as it fits the top main criteria. It's in a location you like, and it is an asset class that you're interested in, okay? And it's and it doesn't need an ungodly amount of work because some people don't like that either. But if it checks those three boxes, I need an offer of some sort. Are you open to that idea? I understand it might not be asking price, and I'm okay with that. But what I can't do is continue to send you deals and not give me offers. So it's about setting the right expectations with our buyer clients. Because if you are not getting buyers to make offers today, you are going to be in this weird, constant circle, struggling to get deals to the closing table. Okay? Struggling to get deals agreed upon, struggling to even get them in attorney review. So the big piece of today, I just want to continue driving this point home. You're generating the leads in the morning, and then the entire afternoon, from noon or 1 till the second you stop working, is just calling buyers and trying to get offers all day long. That's it. There is nothing else you should be doing. And a lot of people are going to argue like, oh, well, I want to go tour the building and shake the seller's hand. At the same time, to me, if you're not even close to a deal, why are you doing that? It's like if the seller wants, in this case, this guy wants $2 million for a mobile home park that I think is worth maybe $1 million if he's willing to sell or finance it. Who on God's green earth would want to drive 2.5 hours from where I live in, where I have a house in New Jersey to go see this guy in New York? Why would I go do that? But like they teach you these bullshit philosophies. They don't like the way commercial real estate's been done for many years, right? Go get a listing, right? Go meet your seller. To me, it's like, why would I not just negotiate, have a couple good conversations, pitch the deal out a little bit, get a little bit of a feeler and a couple offers on the table? Are we even in a range where we can transact? Because if hypothetically the guy wanted 500 grand and I knew for a fact I could sell it for $1 million, you better believe I'm going to go shake that seller's hand. Of course. No one's going to argue that. Go build a rapport. Go build a relationship. Heck, guys, like we're working on some deals where we have a spread of over $1 million on several occasions. Of course, we'll fly out to go meet a seller. Of course, we'll go shake a hand. Of course, we're open to that idea. But that's not first. You don't have to go meet the seller first to do a deal. What we need is that you got a lead. Now it's call as many buyers as you can and get them to put pen to paper. Because it doesn't mean shit to me, okay? Doesn't mean shit to your sellers that you've talked to them and said, hey, I have somebody. Where's the offer? I need to see an offer in writing. Get an offer signed. I need a letter of intent at the absolute minimum. I don't need a PSA right away. I need an LOI signed, okay, so that I can, the seller actually has some type of decision to make. Because unless they have an offer in front of them, there is no decision to be made. Adam, you have a question?
Hey, Henry, it's just to add to it. So something that has worked, I mean, like almost flawlessly for me, whether it's in person or on the phone, just saying, what do you think it's worth to the buyer? I mean, they'll throw out a random number or they'll lowball it.
Great
And then
question.
I'll say, hey, can I put that in writing? And they usually say yes. And then we get an offer right there. So
That's awesome. I
just
love
one
that.
line of saying, what do you think it's worth? Usually
That's a
gets the
great one-liner. What do you think it's worth? And then are you open to putting that in writing? I love it. Great one-liner. Appreciate the share. Fantastic one-liner. Howie then, kids counter it back here and says, like, my challenge is sellers are being realistic on their prices. Howie, here's the way I see this is like, okay, I completely can respect a seller who's stuck on their unrealistic price. Okay. I am one of those sellers who's unrealistic, but I don't have the absolute need to sell. So it's like, I can understand their philosophy, and obviously we talk to a lot of them on a regular basis. Here's the difference. When you have an unrealistic seller, what are our options, people, right? We have the lenses. What are our options? You have an unrealistic seller. What do you do?
Ideally, I like to put offers in writing in front of them to show that.
Okay. So hold on. So I'm gonna just pin us together so you and I can chat here. You have a lead. You said, what can we do here? You have multiple lenses to play around with. You make them an offer. Okay. Give me a scenario recently. Maybe you have a lead that you talked to. Doesn't need to be super specific.
Like a 7-unit apartment. He wants 1.2. Offers are coming in at $1 million, $1.05 million. He's not budging off his 1.2. Or if he comes down to like 50,000 and that's it. But the numbers don't make sense at that.
So let's talk about it. So you made him some offers. Cool. Now he's not willing to come down a little bit. Tell me now, what can you do? Now we're pivoting here.
I actually went, we made the written offer, presented it. Went to the extent where we made a property tour, where the buyers actually met the seller kind of build that relationship and trust and credibility. We walked through the property, we answered all the questions, and still, kind of counter offered. Still, again, he's not coming off. And he actually has 2 properties I'm trying to sell for him, and I'm dealing with 2 different buyers in the same thing. It's just, he's 100, 200K off.
Again, we're going to pivot for a second. I understand where you're at. What are some, now, like, we're going to like CEO time, just looking at the business. This is the situation where that is occurring. What other options do we have to try to move this deal along? What other options?
I try to find the seller's motivations. I, try to really dig deep into that psychology. I know this gentleman older. He's got health issues. He wants to get out of the game. He just bought a house down in Florida, so he wants to live out of state. So I find those motivations. So I'm trying to like give him that advice, like, hey, this can, free you up. This will give you some time. This, trying to advocate in that sense.
I love it. I agree, 100%.
But yeah, ideally right now it's kind of at a stalemate.
Okay, so again, I'm trying to say, let's pivot. We got to find other options here. How do we solve the problem? He's at 1.2, they're at $1,050,000, right? Or maybe maybe 100K off. So what can you do? Let's talk about it. Well, I mean, one, you could ask for did you ask for the listing?
I don't have an exclusive. That's one challenge. I don't have the exclusive. He won't give me that.
He won't let you list the property for sale?
So I have the listing. I can list it, but it's not exclusive. So he has other investors and other brokers that he has shown the deal, although they haven't really brought much.
No, what you can do is you can just have exclusions. So is it on the market? Is what I'm asking you?
I got a commission agreement for 5%.
Yeah.
I got a commission.
I understand that. I'm saying, is it on the market?
I put it on CoStar and CREsync.
Okay.
And then I pulled it off recently just because I literally gave him probably 7-8 offers and he's just not budging over the last 4 or 5 months.
Okay, cool. So I just want to make sure you're checking boxes here, right? Number 1, listing. Great. No, number 2, reconfiguring the offers. This is the strategy of he wants X, they're at Y, the delta, how do we handle the delta? Which is, look, are you at all open to the idea that we give you, let's just say $1 million now, and then 200 grand over time where we can make payments, a very minimal payments, and maybe have a balloon payment in 5 years or so. So this is like, hey, I take my guy who wants it at $1,050,000 and say, listen, he wants, and he's willing to do, and I obviously got to talk to the seller about this, but the point is presenting the idea of if I can get you $1.2 million, but the way it works is that we're putting down $1 million between the down payment of the buyer and the bank, and you're in a second position as a seller with a 200 grand note on the building, where that will be paid at, let's just say $500 or $1,000 a month. We'll pay you 5% interest roughly on the debt. Okay, 10 grand a year. I don't know. You make up the number. You talk to your buyer about it, but you say I'll be able to get you the 200 grand over time. This way, it still sells for 1.2. You're just getting the 200 of the 1.2 over time, and we can refinance you out in probably 5 years.
So I actually had a buyer who said to do that, and he agreed to owner financing, but then he says, well, if they're going to do that, then have them pay your commission too. So he threw that on top of the deal. So he wanted me to add another 50K to the 60K to the deal onto the buyer side. And I'm like, he's not going to do that,
Well, look, if they're open to seller financing, and just keep in mind. I'll give you an example. Like the last guy I just talked to, I was trying to get an offer, and he happened to say he was in Florida. I don't know if you just caught that real fast. Similar situation. Okay, it is a mix. It's a mixed use, but it's like 6 apartments, four retail. Horrible condition. Horrible condition. But very similar situation. Guy is stuck at his number. Okay, he's like, I will not take a penny less than X. Okay, call it 1.2 for this instance. Okay, I got him an offer at 1.2. Okay, with 6% commission on it. Okay, and he told me to fuck off. Okay, because he's like, I want a net 1.2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm like, okay, well, just to be clear, so if I got you 1.25, which I'm not even happy about making 50 grand, but fuck it. If I got you 1.25 and you pay, again, it says that you're paying my commission, but I got that 50 grand paid by the buyer's overpaying, would you be open to paying the company? No, will not have a commission at all on the contract. I deal with the same bullshit you do. Same nonsense. So now I have to figure out a way to get my buyer to pay 1.25 technically and pay me 50 grand, which he cannot finance. So he has to come out of pocket an additional 50 freaking G's to buy the deal. I'm in the same boat. But the difference also is saying, listen, does your deal make sense? Right? Like if he's open, now the seller financing route, this is where it gets exciting. Because if he's open to seller fi, and now you keep moving down the solving route, right? It's like, okay, the price obviously doesn't make any sense at 1.2 to buy it straight up. But at 1-2 with seller, or 1-2-5, 1-2-1-3 with seller financing actually could be a legitimate deal. And say, okay, great, listen, if you're not willing, because what you should do is you should put 1-2 with seller fi on it and have him pay your commission and see if he's willing to bite at it. I know he says he's not. Did you get that in writing?
Yeah.
You put the 1-2 seller financing 6% commission or something like that in writing to him?
So not in that format, but him and I we have the commission agreement already talked about.
Yeah.
On these offers, we kind of go back and forth of who's going to pay the commission. He's like, yeah, if you get me 1.2, then he keeps changing. He keeps flip-flopping. Like, I'll pay your commission on this offer. Well, if you do this offer, then have him pay the commission. He flip-flops like when he's willing to pay the commission.
I understand. Okay, so then what you need to do here is that I would work out a plan, right? I would, with your buyers, where this is a 1-2-5 deal. It's not if he wants 1-2. It's a 1-2-5 deal. How much did he tell you? How much down he wants?
20%.
20. Bro, that's a decent opportunity. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I got a cash flow.
Which, by the way, I want to be very clear for everybody here. If someone agrees to 20% and the only issue is that they want someone else to pay their commission, no shit. They're not making anything. Like, if you're I'm not walking away with anything. 250 grand is nothing on this type of deal. 250 minus your closing costs, you're going to walk away with like 210, 212, like 215, 220. And then he's got to pay you 6 points. He was going to walk away 90 grand. You, right? Like, it's like, so I respect where he's coming from. All you have to do is just say 25%. It's 1-2-5 and 25 down.
Gotcha. So go back to the buyer and say, instead of 20%, do 25%, and
right.
have the seller understand.
It's 1-2-5, 25 down. Guy will hold the note. That's it, right? And sure, you don't make a ton, but you make a little bit, and the deal actually still will probably pencil. That's the right way to do it.
Yeah, because I mean, this guy, he's a cash flow buyer, so that's all he cares about.
So then say, like, listen, do the 1-2-5 and go 1% in interest less and try it.
Yeah, I like that.
I want to be clear, because here's the thing, guys. We all know this. If you get a guy to write an offer, sign on an LOI, right, of something that they would consider, getting them to come up is not the hard part. The hard part is getting the pen to paper. Because once you got them pen to paper, they get more vested interest. Now they kind of want the deal. You know what I mean? And if they go like, oh, okay, got it, it's only a little bit more, okay, I might be able to justify it. More so of getting them to even just put pen to paper on the new terms. Does that make sense? 1-2-5, 25 down, and what was interest rate?
8%.
Try 7. Try 6-5. Say, look, the guy's willing to pay my note. And then if the guy pushes back, no, I need 8, blah, blah, would you be at least open to the idea to the first 3 years while we renovated, it's different? Maybe we do 7 for 3 years, 6-5 for 3 years, 6, 7, 8. What about 6, 7, 8? And then it goes to 9, 10 in year 4 and 5, right? So it averages, but at least this way your guy can, pay it off in 2 years.
Yeah.
That's the right way to do it.